Welcome, and thank you all for joining me here today. I have the special guest, a business owner, a mom, and a creative extraordinaire, Charity Williams, joining me here today to share pieces of her own journey and how that really helps her change the world. How are you doing today, Charity?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Where did your
Yeah.
own healing begin?
My own healing began. Oh goodness. So it's been a journey. It's been about gosh, 8-year journey. I got sick in 2017 and I stopped breathing and it was really traumatic. My kids were really little at the time and I woke up in the ICU and I was like, yes, I got a second chance. I didn't die. And I was filled with gratitude and but then I went home from the hospital and home kind of hit and I'm like, I'm incapacitated. I can't be a mom right now. I'm not a good wife right now. I'm kind of a vegetable. What happened to me? And so, I just kind of started going downward, really, just getting depressed. And I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, but I didn't know that it was anxiety until I had another breathing attack. And I was like, I called my husband. I'm like, you have to take me to the ER. Like, I can't breathe. And they did all these tests on me, and they realized that all my heart was fine, my lungs are fine, everything's fine. And they said it's a anxiety, it's panic. And I was like, what? So I think from there, I started to realize like there was a lot more going on in me and around me than I realized. So I really started paying attention to that and paying attention to, my mind and how I was feeling, what I was thinking, what I was experiencing. And yeah, I really just kind of started tuning in, I guess, really trying to be um, proactive with it to get through it. And I remember one day I was sitting in my kitchen, I think it was my kitchen, and I was just having a really hard day. And I looked down at my feet and I felt like God was like, you need to put words on your shoes that remind you of hope, of life, of where you're headed, not what you're going through currently. And so I grabbed a pair of canvas shoes and I started painting these words of, I'm healed, I'm well, I have hope, I'm not gone. Just encouragement. And I think that that was really my personal start of a turnaround. So yeah, I think that's sorry, I kind of had to give some background before I got to that part, but I think
I asking that
yeah.
question, it always requires background. People generally start at, well, let me get to what I healed from first or started healing from. And I'm like, good,
Yeah.
good. Like everybody
Yeah.
interprets that correctly. It's like, no, take it and run. I will sit here
Yeah.
and listen attentively because that's incredible. And also
Yeah.
that inner knowing of no, I need the visual representations. And
Mm-hmm.
because those subconscious reminders, even if you weren't actively reading the words, every time you looked at those shoes, you would subconsciously see them, or even the ground in front of your feet. Your
Yeah.
brain would acknowledge, oh, hope, inspiration, happiness,
Yeah.
like whatever they were, to just
Yeah.
subconsciously cue you into, okay, today might feel like doom and gloom, or overwhelming to the point that I can't breathe at times, but it's
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
get it. I mean, unmanaged, I have some pretty severe PTSD, which
Yeah.
gives me tachycardia.
Yeah.
If I don't see an ambulance with my blind spots before I hear it and it's really
Mhm.
close by,
Yeah.
everyone around me is gonna think I'm having a heart attack
Gosh.
because I've
Yeah.
been in
Wow.
that many ambulances in my life.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And and it's
Yeah.
it's one of those things like, nope, they'll rush me to a hospital. Okay, guys, it's tachycardia and it's PTSD. I'm not having a heart attack. Calm down.
Yeah,
No, we
I'm
don't
really
trust
fine.
you.
Yeah,
And I'm like, look up my medical records. Calm down.
yeah, yeah. Calm down. Yeah, right. Yeah, see, and mine was environmental allergies. So my walking through was I'm afraid to go outside. I'm terrified to go outside. All the trees are blooming. It happened in spring in May of 2017. And so, I've always been in love with nature. Nature's always been my best friend. Like I love nature. I love the flowers and the birds and I love it all. Like it's just magical to me. And so hitting a place where I'm like, I'm terrified to breathe air because it might kill me. It's kind of the same thing with the ambulance. Like, oh my gosh, like if I smell that flower, if I get a waft, if I get pollen in my face, like what's gonna happen, And so yeah, it's been a long journey. But I am healed of it now. I'm, of little pieces by little
Hmm.
pieces, I realized that I don't have panic attacks anymore. I would have a panic attack every day on my way to work. I mean, every day. It was just gonna happen. And so my kids had to watch me learn how to breathe and learn how to. It's like, okay, guys, I'm in it again. You can see me. I'm breathing funny, but you guys just need to let me breathe and let me be in this moment and I'll come back to you in just a second, and so um learning how to breathe in the car ride on the way to work, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, we got here and there was no panic attack. Like I'm okay, like
Right.
and so then he was like, oh, okay, I conquered that one. Now I'm not freaking out on my way to work anymore. And so it's just been little steps, little tools. I know you had asked about the tools.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think, breathing has been a huge part of just centering myself and going, okay, body check. Like, are you breathing? Yes, you're breathing. Okay. Mind check. Like, where's your head? Are you in your head? Or are you, can you come out of your head space? Can
Yeah.
you get out of there? And then just grounding myself, sometimes just sitting and feeling my feet on the floor and feeling my hands on my legs. It's just that like centering myself and really, I mean, leaning into my walk with God is
Hmm.
has been a huge part of my healing personally. And I realize not everybody believes in God, but for me, I'm like, if I wouldn't have had him to guide me and say, hey, you need to breathe. And, it was so personal and
Hmm.
so like I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. I didn't have a counselor or a therapist or anyone. It was just me and him, and he's like, "Okay, breathe. Like this is what you're going to do." And so I learned to breathe and I learned to ground myself. I learned to center myself and really use my imagination for my healing, and it's like, "No, I'm well. Like I'm alive, I'm well, I'm strong. My lungs, they've done x-rays, they're fine. Um, so yeah, just
Right.
really yeah, a lot of mind work and breathing and yeah.
See, and I do
Yeah.
grounding and breath work with everyone I work with, whether they hate
Mm,
it, whether they think they can't meditate. It's like, no, it's not about silencing your mind. It's learning to allow your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions to all just flow. No, it
yeah.
came, I acknowledged it, it went. Not
Yes.
holding on to it. And
Yeah.
yes, connection to God. Like,
Yeah.
whatever your belief system, whether you're
Mm-hmm.
spiritual, whether you believe in one of the world's seven major religions, we
Mm-hmm.
all have a connection to something.
Mm-hmm.
And we all need to acknowledge that. Mine
Yeah.
isn't better than yours. Mine could be the flying spaghetti monster tomorrow, for all we know. It's
Right. It
probably
could be.
not, but
Right.
like I'm
Yeah.
I'm a very spiritual person, especially growing up in my mother's indigenous heritage.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's where like no, connect me to animals and nature
Yeah.
and just believe that something brought us here before us that isn't
Yeah.
me. And not a god, haven't created life, actually made sure that I can't. Let the other
Oh,
people do the procreating. I seem to
yeah.
have got children like the cat distribution system.
Oh gosh.
Even though I didn't make them, I got my own babies from when I was front lines that
Oh
now
no.
in young adulthood go, Reese, ma'am, ma'am,
Yeah. Mom.
ma'am. I'm like, Kate,
Oh.
you're all in college. I love
Yeah.
you, but I thought you were supposed to be less annoying by now.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I
I haven't hit
honestly
that
I
stage yet.
adore
Yeah.
them because
Yeah.
they're amazing. And who would have
Yeah.
thought that as a young adult that when I met some of them as young as 12 years old when I started out, that they
Mm.
would still go, "Hey, I know I'm good, but these are the pros and the cons going on in my life right now. I just wanted to
Yeah.
share them." And I'm like, "Honey, I'm always here to hear that stuff."
Yeah. That's good.
That's
Oh, you're like a mama bear.
I such a mama bear. And honestly,
Oh.
if anyone ever does what happened to me as a
Mm.
kid and or even as a young adult, I'm probably going to prison.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. Yeah. That's how
And
I
you
feel
know,
about my
I
baby
work
too.
as
I'm like,
a
oh,
trauma recovery coach, and I know, nope, that's the limit. Someone hurts
yeah.
them the way someone hurt me, I'm going to jail.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh,
That'll be the
man.
time
Yeah.
that I go ballistic, and they won't see the calm, healed Reese that everyone has known to love and cherish.
Right. Yeah. You're like, there's no limits now. Yeah.
Exactly.
It
No, you
happens. It's real. I know.
exactly. But it's the
Yeah.
healing and
Hmm.
whatever path necessary because
Yeah.
we all need our connection to source, God, universe, creator, whatever.
Yeah.
But and then, it's our emotions. It's our physical body.
Yeah.
It's our
Yeah.
actual mental but not emotional health, like our intellectual.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I,
and
yeah.
also like our connection to our own bodies, like sexuality not as, just inherent sex, like don't go screw
Right.
everything, but
Right.
know how you feel about sensations and how you feel
Right.
about your body and the world around you.
Right. Yeah.
Don't.
And I think that was one of the things that I really had to tune into and be okay with growing up. My family didn't really, we weren't disconnected, but we just didn't talk about emotions. We just kind of learned to, just shovel it down and you just kind of, oh, I'm having a bad day. Oh, it would just, it just put a cap on it. And so crying was weak and feeling big emotions was weak. It was you were being powerless. And so I learned as a kid to just you just don't have emotion. Joy is fine, happiness is fine, but nobody wants the other stuff. So, growing up as a kiddo, I was very depressed. I mean, at some points I was suicidal. Like I hated myself just from situations and
Mhm,
things.
mhm.
And I'm like, man, if I could have just processed some of that, but I didn't know. And so after that incident in 2017 was like the first time that I began to embrace feeling and
Mhm,
going,
mhm.
okay, I'm feeling this and it's real. What do I do with it? How do I can't just shut it off because it turns into panic and anxiety at that point. And I'm like, what the heck do I do with this? And so teaching myself how to feel it all and cry when necessary and scream when necessary and journal like a mad person and all the things. But just to allow myself to feel it was part of the healing part. It was like, okay, I can feel it. And I can take a big deep breath and I can let it go and I can truly heal in that moment. And it wasn't ever like a revisit it. Oh, it just bubbles back up like it used to. It was just like, no, it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
I'm good. Um, so that was it. That was a huge part too of just being able to feel it all.
It's-
And then being able to grieve for me, I had to grieve that person that I was before that incident. Like I had to literally I remember times where I was in mourning over who I was and who I wasn't anymore. And I literally remember just kind of like, not, I didn't really have like an actual burial or anything, but I felt that in my spirit.
Well,
I
and
really
you
felt
do.
that.
Like
Yeah,
I wrote an
yeah,
entire section of my most recent book in the actual grief of both the person before the event, the person that lived through it, and the
yeah,
person healing. You
yeah,
grieve all three versions of yourself through all the stages. The anger, the
yeah.
denial, the
Oh man, the
bargaining,
anger.
like the
Uh,
everything. And it's
yes.
dramatic and it feels relentless at times.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. I mean, I've had some near death experiences. I was hemiplegic as a teen and never supposed to walk again after
Oh
being a
wow.
competing athlete in sports.
Oh,
I
that's
that
devastating.
changed my life forever.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and it was the finding my confidence, the grieving the old versions of myself. And fast forward 11 years,
Yeah.
being at 99%, I could go compete in other sports on good days if I wanted to now.
Wow. Yay.
Like, you can be
Yeah.
anything you want in life if
Yeah.
you take the right steps. At one point, I was a vegetable, and now
Yeah.
I'm a fully baked woman.
Right. I remember the vegetable stage. Like my kids would come up to me and, Mommy, we're hungry. And I'm like staring at the wall blankly. And I'm like, What? Like, it was like it just broke me out of my like zombie stage. And I'm like, wow, where am I even? Like, I don't even know who I am. Like,
Yeah,
and there, and then the rage that I would feel so often. I think that was the scariest part of it for me personally, was because I was mama and I was at home with my babies, but I mean, I would listen to them giggle and play in their bedroom, and they're just being good. They're just being little kids. My daughter
hmm
was 5, my son was 7 at the time, so they're just being little kids. And I just remember the noise is too much. It's just too
hmm
much. It's just and my head would feel like it was going to explode. And I was just so angry at the noise of their
hmm
giggling. It was the
hmm
most bizarre.
Yeah,
And I
and
honestly,
it
at
was
one point,
the misophonia after
yeah,
trauma,
I just felt like at one point I was like, I need to take myself to a crazy house. Like I need to admit myself, because I don't like what is happening in my life does not match what's happening in my mind and my emotions. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to get better. But like I said, I just started really leaning in and going, God, like, you got to take this anger from me, because so I would lock myself in my bedroom. I would tell my daughter, because she's a little mama. And so she would always make the snacks for her and her brother, even though my son's older. He's just never been into the kitchen. But she's like, I can make the snacks, mommy. And so she would put some grapes and, cheese and whatever on the plate and take it to Bubba and like take care of him. Um, but it was like, okay, you know where the snacks are. I need to go breathe in my bedroom. I'll be back as soon as I'm okay, as soon as I'm safe. And she's like, okay, mama. It's just like, oh, it's so devastating and heartbreaking to have to tell your 5-year-old, I need to go put myself in timeout because you're too valuable and you're too important for me, that I need to separate myself so that I don't yell at you, or I don't tell you to be quiet when you're giggling. Like,
right?
I don't want to damage you because I'm so messed up in my brain,
But
And so,
also those moments, especially when they get to their teens,
mhm,
it's gonna click and they're gonna go, "Oh my God, mom was giving
yeah,
us a great example of how to deal with our own crap when we
uh-huh,
don't want to be just outwardly spewing whatever we're not dealing with." And
yeah,
it's gonna click before you see
yeah.
it.
I've
And you're gonna
seen
go,
it.
oh, these kids are emotionally
Yeah.
intelligent
Oh
because
man.
I broke the generational cycle of stuff it
Yes.
down. And
Yes,
it
I
sucks
did.
being the cycle breaker.
Ah,
I
mm.
I'm the isolated sheep of the entire lineage.
Oh
And it's
gosh.
like, nope, I will go off and do my own thing because I'm the
Yeah.
one that's happy. And sure,
Yes, right?
I
You're
don't have
like,
the
I
most
gotta
stuff
live.
and I
Hmm.
don't have the most money, but I'm the only one in the living lineage on
Mm,
my maternal side that is
wow.
truly happy every day.
Wow.
I
That's
mean, maybe
amazing.
not when I'm in bed with a migraine, but who's happy with a
Right.
migraine?
Obviously. Yes. But you know how to choose joy. You know how to move
Exactly.
yourself and
Like
shift your,
I will phone
yeah.
my best friend and I'll be like, Kate, no, it's time. You need to make me laugh until I almost pee because I'm in too much pain to function.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's like,
It's
Kate,
real though.
babe, turn the
And I
lights
think
off.
that's
Let's go.
yeah, right. Right. And I think that that's what you learn when you come out of those traumatic events is you learn how important being able to switch it is.
Exactly. And
You know,
even
I
like
called it switching
community.
the real. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It's
like
like I
your
gotta,
people. You need
yeah.
those, whether they're
Yeah.
local, whether they're an internet friend that you can hop on a video chat with.
Yeah.
Like we live in 2025 and especially in North America, even if you have shitty Wi-Fi, you have good Wi-Fi.
Right. Seriously. Yeah.
Like, come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
you use your tools available, call your people. You don't
Yeah.
have to suffer alone. And
No.
and yeah, if you're faith-based and you don't
Yeah.
want to do that alone either, find
Hmm.
people that share similar values and views and hang
Yeah.
out and workshop it. Be like, hey, how do you feel about this thing?
Yeah.
And be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's actually a really cool way to think about that. I never
Hmm.
looked at it that way because I had just read it like the Bible or
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I have friends of all different denominations in most different religions because
Hmm.
we sit there and we go, oh no, what do you guys think about this? And it's
Yeah.
not out of judgment, it's just purely out of curiosity for information
Yeah.
and further understanding
Yeah.
because like no other religion is full of terrorist groups. If someone's acting in terrorism, they're not acting in their religion.
Right.
Like
Right.
no.
Yeah.
No people that truly believe in Jesus or Christianity
Right.
are out there hate criming people. No, those are
No.
extremists.
Yeah, those are the extremists that are, yeah. No, and it's through history. I mean, it's through all the
Exactly.
religions and it's through all of history. It is, you know, and it's just it's unfortunate that certain religions get that bad rap because of, but at the same time, I agree with you. It's like it's so important to be able to sit in a room and not believe the same thing and have a conversation. You know, it's like I don't have to agree with you, but I can listen and I can learn and I can glean wisdom from your experience and from your story and from that person's story. And you know, it's just important. I think
Right? I
I don't
mean,
know.
I've sat
Yeah.
here with you for almost 25 minutes now, and I already feel like if you met me in the summer when I'm about the color of cinnamon, when my racial mix shows, that
Oh.
you wouldn't be there going, she's brown, I can't talk to her. No,
Oh no.
no, because
No, of course not.
good people are just good people, and it's not about our differences, it's
Yeah.
about finding the commonality in any person that you see.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
I chalk it up to, hey, we bleed red, just be kind to one another as long as
Yeah.
other people are doing no harm.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I might be
I was wearing a shirt
crazy.
yesterday that just said be kind. It's like just can we
Yeah,
just be kind? It's
exactly.
like,
Well, and
yeah.
especially in the
Can we
States
speak
right
light?
now.
Yeah,
Like
right.
my goodness. I
Hmm.
have friends down there that now have no valid government ID because they didn't
Man.
want to ditch their non-binary gender marker.
Mm.
And I'm like,
Wow.
I transitioned a long time ago and I
Wow.
stuck with the binary feminine. So I'm like, nope,
Mm.
I want to travel globally still. This is safer.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And it is, but I mean, still relatively non-binary. Like I can be a
Mm.
total tomboy. I will phone up a cis middle-aged white lady and be like, "Oh my God, that 12-in-1 utility tool I got." She's like, "You are so
Yes.
butch. You were so raised a man." And I'm like,
No.
"Yeah, I was also bisexual,
Uh,
Angela."
oh. Yeah. Right. You're like,
I'm like,
Yeah.
I grew up with my grandfather's workshop and power tools, and I
Yeah.
had to mow his lawn every week once I was big enough to run a lawnmower.
Yeah, I grew up doing the hard work too. My family, we built homes from scratch. We actually built a log cabin, and my dad went out and he surveyed all the trees, and then we cut them down, we got them in, and we hand peeled all of them. And at that point I was little, like I was probably 11 or something, but man, I just give me the hard work, I want to do it, it's like let me get in there, let me do this, let me pound the nails, like I wanted to be in it all the way, and
Yeah,
of course my older brother was the one that got to do all the hard work because he was a boy and he was older, so he had all the muscles and everything. But yeah, I totally, my brother and I used to, we
right.
used to lift weights together, and I was ripped in high school. I was so ripped. I was like, oh, but I was like, I just wanted to be like him, and I wanted to have muscle, and I wanted to prove that I could do the hard work too. And so yeah, it's I don't know. I think all that is just it's just how you're like. I'm wired to work hard. There's nothing wrong
Exactly.
with that. You know what I mean? I'm
Exactly.
like, I don't want to be in the kitchen. That's not who I am. I want
Well,
to,
and I like being in the
so
kitchen, but I'm
yeah,
okay doing all of the stuff. I'm like, I
right.
like to
Yeah.
cook. For
Yeah.
me, it's
Yeah, I
it's a
don't like to cook.
spiritual experience. Like the
Yeah.
smells. Like I throw my headphones in and I
Yeah.
generally twerk while chopping vegetables.
I do like
It's
to bake, but I don't like to
but
cook.
it's like and I've framed, I've done like hard construction for family-owned
Wow.
projects,
That's awesome.
but my most hardcore would be the time that I went off grid for 7 months in a cabin and I got to chop my firewood every day. You know
Dang.
how good it is to
Oh.
chop firewood when you're pissed off about something?
Oh yeah. I remember we chopped our fire. I grew up in Wyoming. So we
Oh
chopped
yeah, that's
firewood.
yep.
Oh yeah. Winter lasts about
9 months.
10 months there. At least it feels like it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, is it ever gonna melt? Is it ever gonna end? Yeah, lots and lots of firewood.
Right?
But
But it's
yeah,
that like no, it's not about gender. It's just work hard.
living.
Be a
Yeah,
contributing member to
yeah,
your household, your
yeah,
society. Like help out where you can after making sure that your own family is covered or dealt
yeah,
with.
right.
And
Yeah,
it's honestly it's those values we need to bring back.
yeah,
Help the home and then help your community.
yeah, right.
Breathe
Yeah,
or breathe life into life and
right.
love
Yeah,
and
right.
let that radiate because in healing ourselves,
Yeah,
as they say, 7 generations back and seven forward.
mm, yeah. And I think that that is like it's so important to be able to heal me so that my daughter doesn't have to go through the same stuff. My son doesn't have to go through the same stuff, and like you said earlier, her and my son doesn't talk about it too much. He doesn't process. He's very quiet and he's very much a sponge. And I know that he absorbed all of it, but he just doesn't really talk about any of it. But my daughter, I mean, she would ask me questions constantly. Mama, what about this? And Mama, what about that? And she would see a friend and she would oh, they're not having a good day, like how she's so empathetic and so aware of everybody and their emotions and how they're feeling, and like helping them process those feelings the way that I helped her process, I'm like you're just such a magical little human that,
Hmm.
I mean, most kids her age wouldn't even notice, a kid that was having a hard day, but she would go over and talk to them and pull them out of it and get them to be alive again. And um even through her own anxieties, she
Hmm.
went through anxiety of, is mama okay? We couldn't watch movies where the mom got sick or died because she would just, oh, it was because it was real to her. So even some of those Christmas movies that are light and happy and whatever,
Yeah.
but they have that storyline. She was like, she'd just bawl, and you're like, okay, this is too much. You need to heal. And so, she just is such a mature.
Oh, wow.
13-year-old because of all of that. And being out her being able to carry what I started, in me and carrying it to her friends and carrying it to her kids one day and it's like it's just a gift. I mean, I feel like it's a miracle of that gift that just keeps unraveling and
Just,
gets getting better, I told my daughter one day, that my job is to do a better job parenting her and healing and than my parents did, and her job is to take that and do better, and and so it's that generational thing, is it's let's get better and better and better and better and better until that legacy is there of this whole and healed and vibrant family that is, that we're creating right now in choosing to heal and choosing to do the hard work now, and like you said, broke that generational stuff. It's like, yeah, I don't want that. Like, I want to be able to feel all the feelings and be okay with that and cry if I need to cry, for Pete's sake, it's
yeah,
like,
exactly. Like
ah.
I was
Mhm.
still broken when I met the teens that refer to me as one of their parentals.
Yeah.
And I was getting my wrist slapped by the system
Mm.
anytime they were bawling and they just needed a hug and a shoulder to cry on.
Mm.
I'm like, no, come here. I can take a little lashing. It's fine.
Yeah, you're like, you need some love, and that's what I got. So,
Exactly. Like, and
yeah,
I don't care about getting my wrist slapped because
yeah,
you need to let it out because otherwise you're gonna end up with undiagnosed chronic pain from the compounding effects of the
yeah.
psychosomatic. And that's where
That's
I was for
crazy.
years. Like
Yeah.
for years they thought it was fibro until I had a really, really bad flare. And they realized that for over 20 years they
Wow.
had misdiagnosed a connective tissue disorder.
Wow.
I was sick for over the first 25 years of my life because
Wow.
Western medicine screwed up.
Wow.
And now,
Because you needed
3 months
healing and
of
not
proper
medicine.
treatment, and
Yeah.
I'm almost 28, and my
Wow.
doctor's like, oh my God, we thought you beat the paralysis, and then you got really sick on your own again, and now we know why.
Hmm.
Good job, kid. You never gave up.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
thanks. Your system almost killed me repeatedly. I loved it.
Yeah.
It
Seriously.
was so
Gosh.
much fun. Like 10 out of
Mm.
10, my kink. No,
Ugh. No. Yeah.
not at
And
all.
it's crazy how much our body holds on to stuff. Like I've dealt with chronic pain too, and
Well,
I'm
exactly. Like when
finally
you're
at the
having
point where
panic attacks to the point where you
right?
can't fucking breathe, like,
Yeah,
yeah, that there's going to be
yeah,
some pain there, honey.
yeah, and just I mean, it's just crazy. You're like, yeah, chronic pain, and you can't. It's those hidden. I'll call it disease, even though it's not a
Mhm.
disease, but it's those hidden diseases. It's his hidden things that, like, on the outside, probably I would assume that nobody really thought I was any different, But I'm like, man, the war zone that goes on inside your body, and the pain that your body holds on to, your body remembers all of that trauma and all of that stuff, all the panic, and um it's just it's crazy. You're like, huh. But as you heal, like as I've healed personally, I'm like, that pain has subsided and subsided and subsided, and I'm like, I mean, most days pain free, unless I did something to, like, worked out or something, then I'm like, okay, my muscles hurt, but that's different. It's not just chronic pain where you're just like, ugh, so yeah, it's crazy how connected everything is. But yeah, it's intense.
Mhm, exactly. And in
Mhm.
choosing to heal our minds, we don't just heal those around us, we heal our entire bodies.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
if you can't do it through your mind, tackle it through your stomach.
Yeah.
Because that residual anxiety, replace some of that coffee for green tea, the real stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And throw some ginger in the food that you're cooking to also help neutralize the enzymes that contribute to your anxiety. And
Mm,
oh, suddenly you're just a little bit calmer and, less of
yeah.
an uptight bitch.
Yeah, right. I stopped drinking coffee like a year and a half ago, maybe almost 2 years ago. My daughter actually challenged me. She was like, Mama, do you think you're addicted to coffee? And I was like, yeah, I am. I was drinking like 32 ounces a day. It was a lot. Like it was a lot just to survive, I felt like. And she's like, I want to challenge you. She's like, I'll pay you $50 if you quit drinking coffee for a month. And I was like, done. Because I was like, if I can show her one more way that I'm powerful and that I can overcome and that I can heal, I'm like, I'm in. So I like quit cold turkey, just quit drinking coffee. And she's like, I wasn't sure if you could do it. And I'm like, you asked me. And I'm like, I don't want to be addicted to anything. So yeah, let's do
Right?
this.
At my height
And
of
then I
it,
just
it
never went
was
back. I'm like, I felt so much,
72 ounces a
yeah,
day.
man. Woo! I thought I was
Oh, I
crazy,
was
man.
awake.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you probably never slept. Oh,
It was bad, but now
yeah.
it's just generally three very gradual in the morning cups of green tea, and
Yeah.
then one before my evening meetings.
Yeah. Wow.
Generally a four a day cap,
Yeah.
and now I don't even actually need it. It's just because I like it,
I like warm. I
right?
do.
And I'm
Yeah.
okay with non-caffeinated as well. I just lean into
Yeah.
the green tea for the L-theanine, which is natural for anti-anxiety.
Okay. I didn't
And
know it
and
had that
that's
in it. That's
and
cool.
that's why when someone's coffee addicted, I go, no, green tea switch first. And from green tea, we can get you off of caffeine, but
Wow.
coffee to nothing is really hard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
You
withdrawals
know.
because you're
Yeah.
addicted.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally it's you have withdrawals. You're literally addicted to the stuff. Yeah. It's crazy. I just recently stopped eating sugar and I'm like, I mean, you have to detox from all of that stuff. It's crazy.
It's
I'm like,
exactly.
okay,
And
but we're in.
it's
Let's do
funny
this.
because our entire food structure in North America is there's sugar in everything.
Sugar and salt
Yeah,
in everything. And I'm like, and bad oils. There's like bad oils in everything. And you're like, oh my gosh, can I even do this? Like, I just have to go vegetarian. Like that's it.
right?
Like, and then there's like, organic or not organic because a vegetable is not a vegetable anymore. You have to weed through that too. I'm like,
Right?
oh,
And
but
if you have a friend like me, you have someone that is pescatarian, but that every time you say you're eating a salad, I respond with, "Stop eating my cousins." And friends, go, "You're not a vegetable anymore. Stop making those jokes." I'm
right.
like, I can't.
Stop
A
it.
part of me still
Yeah.
identifies.
You're like, I have to make it funny because that's so funny.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's the being a ham. I'm like, no, life is too short. Enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah,
Like, if you can't
absolutely.
laugh at every day at least one thing, why are you
Right.
here?
Right.
We don't just exist to pay bills and die.
No, that's depressing. And I'm
We're
not interested.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's a word of advice you would give to your younger self?
Uh, word of advice for my younger self. Probably just not being afraid to feel, I think I just um not being afraid to feel all the things and to find a way to process. I think for me, like as a kid, I did journal and I did do art. And it was very therapeutic for me. Um, but I still stuffed my emotions. And I think, giving myself permission that I'm not broken if I feel something. I'm not a loser if I'm feeling it, so I think like just give yourself permission to feel it and process it and grow from it and go right through it. I think like go right through that fear, go right through those feelings, and just on the other side is that better you, is that healed you. Um, but you have to give yourself permission to, and not wait for somebody else to give you permission, but like give yourself the permission to heal. Give yourself permission to walk through the fear and to feel the feelings and, process it however, you can. But yeah, I think that's just so important to allow yourself to feel. Um, and I know that some, other families that's not an issue, and they talked about stuff, all the time that,
What's that?
right? I know that was not my experience. It just wasn't. I feel like my
Like,
husband's family they had family meetings, and they would kind of gather together, and they would talk about life, and they would and I'm like, I don't even know what that, like, coming into it, marrying into it. It was very hard because they would be like, "Oh, what's your favorite childhood memory?" I'm like, um, I actually don't remember my childhood because, like, I just blocked it. Like, I just,
uh
and it wasn't bad. I didn't come from an abusive family. I didn't, it was just hard and traumatic in its own way, just for little things. And I'm
mhm.
like, but as I've healed, I'm like, my memories have come back, and things are being restored. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Like, but it's choosing that healing. It's choosing to walk through and feel all the things, and I'm okay. I'm not broken. It's just human.
Yes,
And that's,
exactly.
you know,
We're houseplants with emotions. We are very simple. We just have to
yeah,
deal with our crap.
yeah, yeah.
How can our listeners connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and it's hopewords.charity is my tag. And then yeah, you can get me there, and then I'm working on my website right now, but it's hopewords.net. So same thing, hopewords. But yeah, just there. So Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Thank you
So
so much for taking the time to
yeah.
share this incredible journey.
Yeah. It was nice to talk to you. It's good to get to know you a little bit too. It's awesome.
Well, now you know I'm a nut.
Me too.